I'll go on and I'll talk about this because I clearly don't value my life. Now, before we start, let's highlight the positive. The Women's World Cup in 2019 had a prize pot of $30 million, and this $110 million is a massive increase. And as we can see by the article, it's to do with a greater interest in the women's game and consumerism and advertisement, etc., etc. And I think it's fab. It's nice to see the women's sport growing. I myself will be watching the Women's World Cup because to me, football is football and I enjoy it. And I've got many friends who take their daughters to play football now too. So it's becoming more popular. That being said, the argument is that the prize pot is $110 million compared to the men's $440 million. So it's 1/4. Seems like a massive difference, right? Until you look at revenue. The Men's World Cup of 2018 generated a revenue of $6 billion, so in 2023 the men's prize pot was a total of $440 million. If you don't like maths, basically the players could win just over 7% of what the total revenue was. The Women's World Cup in 2018 generated a revenue of $130 million. The prize pot in 2023, $110 million. And to note, the Women's World Cup in 2019 had an incredible 1.1 billion viewers, which is amazing. However, the year before in the Men's World Cup, they had 3.5 billion viewers and generated 45 times more revenue. But the argument is pay equality. But if the money's not coming in to match the same sort of pay the fellas are getting, where's it got to come from? There's only one place it can do, and that's the men's game. Hang on, they keep saying they don't need no man. Shh. But it's quite evident that we can see that it's not fighting for pay equality, it's fighting for pay equity, and they're not the same thing. And evidence of this is like when the USA men's team had a good run in the World Cup and they gave the ladies team $6 million without the women's team actually playing a single game. Fair play to them, though. Now, to give a point of why revenue is quite important, I'm going to name two sports where the audience are exactly the same for both men and women, where the pay is exactly the same. Poker is one, the Olympics is another. And then we've got tennis, where women make pretty much the same as men. Why? Because women's tennis is awesome to watch and it brings in the revenue. I just want to play a hypothetical for a moment. Should we go to the highest paid UFC fighter and say that the amount of money that you are taking isn't comparable to the amount of money everyone else is taking, so we should give you less money and give it to everyone else? Would that be fair? Should we ask her?
We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport, and we heard you say on the Ellen Show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dana and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice to the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money, and I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
She brought in the most revenue, she deserves the highest wages, and if any fella come up to her and says, no, I think I deserve a cut of what you're earning, I'd be on her side if she tells him to piss off. To be honest, I'd be on her side for pretty much anything. I'd fear that she'd kick the crap out of me. In all seriousness, though, I think women's football growing as fast as it is, I think it's incredible. Don't forget, it's only really been professional since the 90s. I think it's brilliant the amount of work that men's football has done for women's football to make it so popular so quickly. But the people I'm seeing complaining about this equality stuff are people who are not contributing to the revenue of women's football. Start watching it. Make it more popular. Help the players get paid more. If you're not going to be part of the solution, stop complaining about the problem, surely.